the one that raises concerns for the Oklahoma Sooners might be cornerbacks. You look at that cornerback room, and I'm a little concerned for it. I wouldn't say worried. I wouldn't say, I don't know. Maybe skeptical is the right word. Just because Oklahoma has struggled in the past, and specifically in recent years, Oklahoma's DB room has been banged up. Last season, we saw Eli Bowen step onto the scene. Phenomenal freshman season, and we have total faith in him. But who's really going to be able to step up? Because there were some inconsistencies there, and we probably know who. I'll throw out the name because he's not with Oklahoma anymore. Kenai Walker, uh, a liability at times. There was a couple of others, and off the top of my head, I can't think of specific plays where others would kind of be inconsistent at times, and it was just it was a problem for Oklahoma. That was the one room, which is kind of ironic. I was listening to Chad and Tierney last night. They were talking with TJ, kind of going over the Michigan matchup and previewing that one. And I think Chad mentioned that he was excited, thinking that Oklahoma would have the best cornerback room in the nation. I just don't see it. I think there was a lot of inconsistencies last season, and you're going to have guys having to step up into that role this season. We do have Eli Bowen, and he did bring up Gentry Williams. Chad did. He brought up Gentry Williams, who could be the best cornerback in the nation if he's healthy all season. But it's if he's healthy, and I'm just not sure. I'm skeptical about the injuries. That's one that Oklahoma fans were burnt very, very badly last season. So little worried about health there on the defensive side of the ball. But you do have to think about guys that could be breakout candidates over there in that cornerback room. You got Jacoby Johnson, who didn't get a whole lot of time. We thought maybe he might switch over and play a little bit of wide receiver. We didn't really see that. And what can he do? I mean, he's a tall, lanky guy, athletic guy. I think he's really capable of being that breakout guy, as well as Jaden Hardy, another guy that I think we saw a little bit of last season, and quite a bit of good reps from him as well. So there's another guy that you can feel pretty good about. And Jeremiah Newcomb, I'm hearing a lot of buzz around him from spring, and so I'd like to see what he's able to do. Who's going to be that next breakout corner? If we have one more breakout corner, the way that Eli broke out last season, Eli was like, we know that he's talented, but he's not going to get very many reps. Then some inconsistencies and injuries forced him into that role where he's getting more reps. And the more that we saw, the more we loved him, and the more he's making big plays, squeezing through on a little wide receiver screen, wide receiver bubble out there, and busting through and picking that ball off and taking it back. That's the kind of stuff that you saw from Eli. Who's going to be that next cornerback on defense to step up in 2025? Because I think there's guys that are capable. There's guys that I think are very much capable of being that guy to break out in the corner room, but who's actually going to do it? And so I do have some concerns there about who might replace that. And then, of course, replacing Billy Bowman. We talked about Danny Stutzman at the linebacker role. And of course, I think, with that heart of the defense, I'm not sure if you can even call out one linebacker that we have on the Oklahoma roster that would be able to do as much as Danny did just on the field alone. Just because, I mean, if you go back and look at plays from last season with Danny prior to the snap, he's tapping guys on the back and letting them know what's coming, or hey, shift over left, shift over right, watch out for this, watch out for that. I don't know if anyone has that kind of an IQ. I think Kip Lewis could work on it, and we could see that out of him, and it would surprise us by how much he has improved. I don't know. I'm just not hearing anything out of Kip Lewis that would lead us to believe that he would be Danny level, and we can't compare him. That's the wrong way to go about it. But you do have to think about who's going to fill that role if you're trying to be that same defense or even better. But going on to the DB room, and looking back into the safety role, Billy Bowman's hard to replace. He's kind of a ball hawk. He comes down fast and meets guys down at the line of scrimmage, and that's really hard to find. I do think we have guys that would be capable of filling that role. I think Peyton Bowen is very well capable of filling that role and being that guy. But then you've got guys like Michael Boganowski, even Robert Spears Jennings, who would be able to step up. And RSJ, I think, is even another guy that has shown that he can be a vocal leader. Kendall Dolby too. Kendall Dolby has been a vocal leader this offseason, and he might be the next, true defensive leader. I don't know. I'm really excited to see who steps up to be like, I feel like Oklahoma's always had that guy of somebody who's that vocal leader for their unit. You've got the guy on offense and you've got the guy on defense. Danny Stutzman was the guy for the entire team, hyped up everybody, got everybody going. So I just don't think you can bring that, but you can get guys that can step up on one side or the other. So it's going to be interesting. Who's going to be that next man up? And can Oklahoma's cornerback room, can they improve, and will they be able to have somebody break out the way that Eli did last season to keep that cornerback room looking good and looking healthy this upcoming season? Overall, defensive ceiling in the SEC, and taking a look at what Oklahoma, what was able to do last season, are they able to really stand up with the SEC elites, Alabama, LSU, Georgia? Are they able to stay up there and be that defensively strong team like these other teams that are known for that in the SEC? And I really think so. I think Brent Venables' scheme, I've seen at times it feels like he kind of mixes like a 4-2-5 is what he usually runs, but it's like a 4-3 hybrid. So maybe it's like a multiple defense, kind of like that, maybe like a 4-2-5 multiple. I don't know if that's what you'd call it. But he does have a unique way of kind of shifting that defense around to making it look like different schemes at times. And it might just be my eyes, the way that I'm seeing the game. Maybe I'm just seeing it wrong too, which is totally in the realm of possibility. But I think what makes Brent Venables' defenses so stout and able to be at the top of the SEC year in and year out is just that, he's able to exploit SEC offenses like Alabama that we saw last season. He's able to get back there and disrupt them. I think he did a really good job. I think that the defensive game plan against Tennessee was really good. Tennessee's got a high-powered offense, and Oklahoma really slowed them down a lot. Of course, the offense gave them the ball in scoring position multiple times. But you look at mobile QBs. You look at, I think Nico Iamaleava was one of them. Specifically, Jalen Milroe. That's the one that you can look at. And I don't know that Oklahoma will face another quarterback, at least this season. Take that back. Maybe Bryce Underwood from Michigan. I don't know. I'm just going to have to see what he's capable of. I don't think he's going to be as much of a threat as far as athleticism and how well he's able to just move all over the field, get from side to side, break through tackles, big guy as Jalen Milroe. And Oklahoma shut him down, specifically Danny Stutzman. And I think it was the first offensive play for Alabama when Danny Stutzman met him right at the line and just bam, right there on time, on target, and put him down. That was the tone setter of the game. So we don't have Danny Stutzman anymore, but the scheme that Brent Venables runs is very good for shutting down those mobile QBs, which we're going to see a little bit from Oklahoma and what they're going to have to face this upcoming season. And I also think with the depth that Oklahoma keeps on adding to their roster, I think that's another key to how Oklahoma is going to be able to perform in the SEC when we're talking about longevity and what they're able to do. So definitely something to look forward to there, and what they're able to stack on and how much they're able to rotate guys in and out. I think that's what's extremely important. We just talked about the defensive line and how deep that defensive line is, the cheetah position, how deep that cheetah position is with Sammy, with KD, and I'm trying to think. I feel like there's one more in there that I'm probably forgetting, but I think overall, when you look at this defense, I don't think depth is a problem, and they're adding on it on top of that depth with the recruiting that they're out there doing right now, and you can see that with some of the commits that Oklahoma has already secured, verbal commits. But then you've also seen it with just the guys that they're going after and the guys that they're scheduling visits with, which we'll talk about more as they come up. So yeah, I think Oklahoma is going to be just fine, especially talking about longevity.